Atlanta news first, plus starts now with a First Alert Weather Day.
Good morning, First Alert meteorologist Isaac Williams here on a Monday. Want to update you on the cold and what else is coming, and a snow chance in the Georgia mountains, not in metro Atlanta, but we got a lot to talk about here, so we're going to jump right in. We have First Alert Weather Days today and tomorrow for wind, for cold, for a hard freeze. That's when temperatures go below 28. That's for Tuesday. So Veterans Day is looking to shape up quite cold to start the day. And then later on today and into this afternoon, we could have a few flurries in the mountains. We've already seen some earlier today around sunrise, and we could see a few more of those later today. So passing clouds with some sun today. The temperature struggles to get out of the 30s. The wind gusts are going to continue to be 20 to 30 plus miles per hour. And again, notice down there, normally it says chance of rain. This time it's a chance of flurries, 20%. Again, that is mainly for the Georgia mountains. Into tomorrow morning, we have a freeze warning area-wide, and we are going to see temperatures easily fall below 32, even in metro Atlanta. But do want to show you the First Alert Futurecast into the evening hours. I do expect some flurries or maybe some brief snow showers in the Georgia mountains today. They're going to be scattered and sort of on and off in intensity. It might result in a dusting in the higher elevations of Fannin, Union towns, Rabun counties, maybe as far south as Gilmer County, as well as Dawson, White, Lumpkin counties. But outside of that, I'm really not thinking we're going to see much. If we are super fortunate, we might see a flake as far south as Canton and Gainesville, but that should be about it. I think everything should be confined to the mountains, and the Smokies, Tennessee, North Carolina line set to get quite a few inches of snow, especially in those higher peaks. But ultimately, as we go through the night, the moisture begins to dry out, and we are going to be looking at generally dry conditions from a flurry standpoint by the time we get to Tuesday morning. But the main story, the wind today, the cold tonight, these are actual air temperatures. Notice there the normal low is 46, so we're going to be 20 degrees colder than we should be for this time of the year. So tomorrow we're going to see temperatures hold in the upper 40s with lots of sunshine. I want to talk about winds this morning. So we've seen a very steady wind so far out of the northwest, upwards of 20 miles per hour. And when you factor in the wind gusts, we could see gusts flirting with 30 plus throughout the rest of the day. Earlier in the day, at 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport was gusting to 40 plus. So we have definitely seen strong wind gusts. Thankfully, they're just gusts. They're very instantaneous measurements in time. They don't last that long, but it is something that we'll be mindful of. Here's a look at First Alert radar. Obviously, we've got some snow showers in northern Alabama, in and around Huntsville. We've got them over into far northwest Georgia too, maybe some flurries there, and then of course up the Smoky Mountain areas. Most of North Georgia looks dry, but I can't rule out the chance that a few flurries already occurring. And as we go through the rest of the day, this moisture that we see in Tennessee and Kentucky is going to push into North Georgia. And I mentioned the best chance to see a scattered snow shower or enhanced flurry action across the Georgia mountains is going to be settling in sometime this afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock on into the rest of the afternoon. This is all thanks to a big area of low pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere that has kind of filtered in behind the front that brought us storm Saturday, and then it moved through yesterday morning, and it's now well offshore. But we still are dealing with a lot of lift in the upper levels of the atmosphere that's kind of squeezing out the rest of the moisture, and the net result is snow. So that's what we're seeing here across Kentucky, Tennessee, and now pushing into northern Alabama. We're starting to see a few of those snow showers continue there. So that's what we're looking at. We're going to continue to watch First Alert radar in case things push a little bit farther south than we expect, which we do not expect, but something that we will keep in mind. Wind gusts, again, are going to be a big story today, 20 to 30 plus miles per hour for the rest of the afternoon, and we're going to continue to see those wind chills be a factor. Tomorrow, the wind should be a little bit less intense. Breezy, yes, but gusty, blustery weather should not occur. Highs tomorrow at 49. So once we get the freeze out of here tomorrow, that First Alert weather day will go away. And then we're just looking at patchy frost Wednesday morning. And then check out the rest of the 7 day here. 71 on Friday. And then the next chance of rain gets here over the weekend. We have Some showers and storms well west of us Sunday, but as I take you into Sunday night here, you can see showers and storms sort of building to the west, and that might start to move in. So that's the reason we have that 40% chance of showers and maybe a few storms Sunday night. Most of the day looks dry. That could carry over into next Monday, a week from today. But once we get through these 2 first alert weather days, we are going to be looking at much improved weather for the rest of the week as temperatures begin to moderate. As we take you outside this morning in Midtown, again, scattered clouds. It looks like it might be a pleasant day, but we know that temperatures and wind chills are below freezing in most spots, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the course of the day. So stay warm, stay bundled up, keep the layers going if you do have to be outside. Even if you're running to your car from the office, it's going to be a pretty cold one out there for the rest of the day. We've had a lot of news, of course, from last night carrying over into today, and I want to bring in Maria Moreau here for the very latest on the news headlines and what it means here for Georgia. Maria?
You know, those temperature drops are a rare opportunity, Isaac, for news and weather to come together, and we are going to do that for you right now. We're going to talk about freezing temperatures, so let me bring in my graphics here while Isaac and I switch out, because there are some preparations you can still do right now to get yourself, your home, your family ready for this temperature change as we continue to really get more and more into the winter months. The freezing temperatures, of course, as Isaac mentioned, really dominating North Georgia right now. For what you can do to protect your home and save you money in the long run, I do want to throw it out to Atlanta News First Don Shipman, who is in Midtown all morning long, getting everybody freeze ready.
One key thing you want to do is make an assessment of your house. Know where all your pipes are. Which pipes are on the interior walls and which pipes are on the exterior walls. Also, that irrigation system on the outside, you want to make sure that's drained. And then experts recommend that you take care of all of your plants, the ones in the ground and your potted plants. Your potted plants, they say, you want to bring inside. The ones that are in the ground, you may want to cover them with a breathable blanket. Experts say that plants that have been through winter weather before usually become tolerant of cold temperatures, but new ones are more susceptible to damage. Now here's something that might feel a little counterintuitive. They actually recommend watering plants before a major cold snap.
If a plant is dry and gets frozen, it's pretty much dead. So we always recommend that you water a plant in the ground or in a pot. Just can help it get through those temperatures.
And we mentioned those pipes that are on the exterior walls. Well, this pipe is on an exterior wall. It's your spigot. What you want to do is make sure you're turning it off from the inside, letting the water drain. That way it won't freeze. Also, the hose right here, you want to bring that in, but make sure you drain it beforehand. Bottom line, doing all of this prep work will save you hundreds of dollars, say if a pipe bursts. We're here in Midtown. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Thanks, Don. Really good stuff there. All right, it is a story that we keep on talking about because it is affecting everything. The longest government shutdown in U.S. history might finally be approaching the end. We did not think that we were going to say that anytime soon. The Senate voting to advance a stopgap funding bill last night. The chamber now set to work on amendments to that today. We have the latest details from our CNN correspondent, Julia Benbrook, as she reports from Washington.
We still don't know what a solution to this government shutdown will look like. As of right now, the arguments remain the same. Republicans are calling for essentially an extension of current funding levels on a short-term basis, and Democrats are focusing in on health care, pushing to address enhanced Obamacare subsidies set to expire at the end of the year. According to sources, some Democrats have privately signaled they might be willing to support a stopgap bill to end the shutdown in exchange for a future vote on health care. Negotiations, though, are still ongoing, and others in the party are ramping up pressure to not yield without a real health care victory. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump continues to pressure Republicans to unilaterally end the lapse in funding by voting to end the Senate filibuster. That is not a likely solution, as GOP leadership have argued for keeping the filibuster in place, asserting that the 60-vote threshold is an important safeguard for them when Democrats are in the majority. Now, as this standstill continues, so does the impact. The FAA announced that it would reduce air traffic at a number of major airports on Friday unless the impasse ends before then. This comes as staffing shortages at terminals are already causing widespread delays, and thousands of air traffic controllers are set to miss their second full paycheck next week. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
And of course, here in Atlanta, the world's busiest airport, joining many airports around the country in feeling the weight of flight reductions. Atlanta News First, Niamani Watson is with us from Hartsfield-Jackson with a look at how things are going.
Things are starting to pick up here at the airport. Lines at the Delta counters have gotten a bit longer, but we do know some of those travelers whose flights were canceled yesterday are hoping to fly out today. So far, around 200 flights have been canceled at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport this morning. Around 140 of those flights are Delta, and we have at least 60 flight delays. Yesterday, there were more than 1,200 flight cancellations and delays at Hartsfield-Jackson. Airlines started cutting flights at 4% this past Friday and may reach 10% by this Friday, November 14th, according to the FAA. The Air Traffic Controllers Union says today marks the second full paycheck that controllers have missed while working during the shutdown. One traveler was trying to get home to Louisiana when her flight was canceled.
I'm just trying not to stress about it because you can't do anything about it, right? So we're just going to take advantage of more time to spend in Atlanta. But it is frustrating when you plan to be home at a certain time.
The Air Traffic Controllers Union is expected to hold a press conference later this morning to give an update on the impact of the government shutdown. We'll have more on what they have to say later today on Atlanta News First. Reporting from Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.
And of course, we're going to stay on top of all that's coming out of Washington, especially this week as things seem to be starting to take a step forward. We are going to keep you up to date on air and online. You can go to atlantanewsfirst.com with a full guide on SNAP support, your traveler's rights, and really the tools that you'll need to navigate this shutdown until we make it out of it. You can also download the free Atlanta News First app so you can get push alerts to your phone. If we get an announcement on this shutdown ending, you will be the first to know in that app. All right, I want to keep things a little more local and talk to you about a major meeting happening today. The DeKalb County Board of Education set to meet. Now, this meeting is really interesting because it comes 1 week after former DeKalb Schools Superintendent Dr. Devin Horton resigned following a federal indictment for alleged fraud from his previous role in Illinois. Right now, there is a letter calling for school board members to resign or consider not running for re-election, specifically the 4 board members who were on the board when the superintendent was first hired. So a little bit of drama coming out of DeKalb County and a good opportunity for parents and community members to participate in this public meeting and ask questions, voice concerns. We, of course, will follow what happens in this meeting and bring that to you this evening on Atlanta News First. I love to end these catch-up quick segments with you guys on a positive note, and I feel like it's only fair here in Atlanta that we have to show some love to our very own Outkast. The duo was honored this weekend with an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a long time coming, guys. I was listening to Outkast on my way into work. They're so fun, and of course, here in Atlanta, we love to brag on them. Big Boy and Andre 3000 have also were honored during this event. They sold more than 23 million records worldwide and have together 6 Grammy wins. So we, of course, are proud of both of them as individual artists, as the duo, the infamous Rock and Roll Hall of Famers that they now are. Mayor Andre Dickens himself taking to social media to congratulate them, saying their courage, creativity, and Atlanta pride have shaped the world. And I couldn't have said it better myself. With that, we are going to stay on top of all the news, local and national, coming out of today and this week. Make sure you have the Atlanta News First app downloaded and keep up with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. We will be back with your latest on the record at 11:30 with a look at local politics and the state of the country.
Thank you for watching ANF Plus. For more breaking news, live coverage, and your community stories, download the Atlanta News First app. You can also watch us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. To join the conversation on YouTube Live, visit our channel and hit subscribe. You can also listen to the Atlanta News First podcast by searching Atlanta News First on your preferred listening platform.